All right, we had a fun, busy day, and now we're gonna make dinner and dessert from our stockpile, so let's get started. All right, welcome back to Heartway Farms. We're so glad you guys are here with us. We're doing another video talking about how to cook dinner from your root cellar. So today's not about fancy, it's about practical, right? And quick. Because what did you guys just get home from doing?
We went ice skating at Sandwich
Park District. Yes, they went ice skating. Daddy took them. And so now we need to get dinner on the table. And I'm showing you guys just how to cook practical meals from your stockpile, the things that you have put away, building your pantry. So yeah, let's get started. Today we are talking chicken pot pie and homemade brownies. So I've got a helper in the kitchen. So she's gonna work on this side and I'm gonna work on this side. So we're gonna start over here. Earlier today, one thing I did have Julianne do for me is prep some homemade crust. So you can totally cheat and buy store-bought crust. You know, there are times for that, but today we had time, so Julianne threw together some homemade crust. While I'm doing this over here, I'm gonna have Tabitha get started on our filling for our chicken pot pie. And first, you're gonna start with 2 cans of cream of chicken soup. I talked to you guys about this in the last video that you can absolutely make, can you scrape out the bottom for me too with this, with this spoon? You can absolutely make your own cream of chicken soup. You can make cream of anything soup pretty much at home. And it is delicious. And that way, if you have issues with gluten allergies or sensitivities to different things, dairy allergies, you can make that so that you are good to go with that. But today we're not covering that. We can cover that in a future video. Okay, Tabs, so do that. And then next for the recipe, so she has 2 cans of cream of chicken soup. We are also gonna use one of our small cans, our pint jars of mixed veggies. And these we had down in our root cellar, and I can pop up a picture here, a picture or 2 of our root cellar. Today I didn't go down there to show you guys. I wanted to be a little bit more prepared. So we renovated our root cellar. Josh made it beautiful for me. And it was a lot of work, but it's so nice to have it. And these are our mixed veggies from the root cellar. We bought them frozen and canned them to take away from, you know, taking up freezer space, and moved them onto the shelf. So we're gonna open up 1 pint of our mixed veggies and 1 pint of our pasture-raised homegrown chicken that I already talked about in our last video that we did, that we harvested our chickens, we put them in the Instapot, and then we shredded them and canned them. So we're gonna open these up, drain them. I don't want wet veggies in there. That will mess with our recipe, so I'm gonna make sure these are strained real good. All right, Tabitha, this is for you, girl.
Just dump the whole thing in?
Yep, you can put the whole thing in, and then you're gonna start carefully mixing and incorporating everything. Okay, so we've got our chicken open. Tabitha, this can go in as well.
Okay.
All right, so we've got our 2 cans of cream of chicken soup. We've got our veggies. We've got our chicken. Do you need help?
It's going so
It's okay.
slow.
Here's what we can do. Because our hands are clean, we can open this up and put it in there. Okay. Perfect. And I love using the canned chicken for easy, fast meals. I was just reading a comment from somebody about preferring raw packing chicken. Totally understand. But because of how our chickens were, okay, first of all, I'm gonna add 1/2 cup of milk. Now, Tabitha, you're gonna have to go kind of slow with this part, okay? Mm-hmm. Good job. Ooh. Go ahead. It all needs to go in there. Good job. And I totally think there's a time and a place for raw packing chicken, but because we had whole chickens that we were harvesting, it's not like I was able to get, you know, chicken on sale like in bulk, like whether it's the boneless thighs or boneless chicken breasts or whatever. It was just the ideal situation was to go ahead and pull that chicken off the bone and get it into cans. Okay, let's add some pepper to taste. I'll watch it and you do it. Here, you can. All right, go ahead. Kind of cover the whole top a little bit, spread it around. It doesn't need any more salt because of the cream of chicken soup in there.
Is that enough?
Yeah, that's good. Good job. Okay, while Tabitha incorporates all of that, I'm gonna start working on the crust. Okay, so like I said, I had Julianne. Store-bought crust would work totally fine if you keep that in your stockpile, whether in your freezer or whatever. But for us, it's a treat. We love having the homemade crust because it's so good. So I had Jules do it. She does it in the food processor. And we actually have a video on this if you want to check it out. I believe it was on the pecan pie recipe. And she shows how she makes this crust. And this is the crust we use for everything because we like it so much. So yeah, I'm gonna roll this out. All right, got my bottom crust done here. I already greased, I put some olive oil in my pan so that the crust does not stick at the end when we want it to come out. So I'm doing it this way. Some people, you know, put it on the inside and then trim accordingly. Well, today I'm not doing it. I'm doing it this way. And if you ever have extra dough, like we're gonna have tonight, you can make delicious treats with it. We're making brownies from the stockpile, so I'm gonna show you how to do that later too, but if you wanna make an extra treat, you can make those into little cinnamon rolls, and they're so good. Okay. All right, we're gonna take a bottom crust. We're gonna lay it down here. I wanna have a little lip so I can pinch off the crust later. Otherwise, I'm just gonna do this. So I'm just gonna put some fork pokes in the bottom of this, okay? And set that aside for a minute. All right, let's go check out Tabitha. Are you done? All right, let's turn, really for this mixture here inside of the chicken pot pie, all you're trying to do is get it all incorporated. There's no real reducing or anything that you have to do. It's super easy. All right, and for the record, this recipe calls for cream of potato soup, but I have some kids that don't like that, but I personally like it better with cream of potato soup. But if the kids will eat it, then I'm happy. All right, you come over here real quick. I'm going to move the pie crust over here. All right, this looks great. Now, let me see. I'm just gonna set this over here until I get the top crust done. So let's do that real quick. Tabitha, you just gonna hang out with me? Mm-hmm. So how was ice skating? How did it go today?
Fun.
Were you guys the only one there?
No, there was 2 people, at least.
2 other people there?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you guys brought, let me see, Will and Jules didn't go, so you took 5 people. I bet it was fun for Daddy to see ya. Whoa! Hard crust. All right, so our top crust is done. I'm gonna bring over my bottom crust as my gauge here to know how big I need. This is real technical. This is how we do it home cook style. All right, and then we're gonna get rid of all this excess. Oh, Marie, you're gonna have a lot of stuff to make fun stuff with here. Marie likes making stuff out of the extra dough. Okay, so we're gonna move this over here.
I like eating it.
I know, it's yummy. Okay, Tabitha, in just a second, I'm gonna have you do an egg wash. All right, we're gonna put our top crust on, and then we're gonna just pinch it closed. You can do fun things here, but I like to take the top and the bottom, and I like to actually tuck so that it looks pretty on top. So then I take the extra bottom and the top and just pinch it together and tuck it under so that the top is nice and clean. You know, it's okay to have fun, pretty food even when it's just your family eating it. So you know, the reason we're doing these videos is just showing you guys real life, quick, easy recipes that can be, help you kind of gauge what you need in your stockpile. And if you go back to some of our, one of our first videos about talking about stocking up and how to wrap your mind around it, I was sitting down with Jules and Marie. I'm just gonna vent the crust now. Nothing fancy here, but just, you know, pretty crust here. When we talked about wrapping your mind around stocking up and having food prepared for your family, I talked about coming up with a meal plan and then making your prepping list based off of that. So this is one of the things that I thought about and I put on that list, chicken pot pie. And then our last video was chicken and rice and veggie soup. And we have many others that are like go-to easy, quick meals. And yeah, so I hope you guys try this at home. But what I'm gonna do right now is do a quick egg wash on top so that as this bakes, it gets a nice golden color to it. All right, do you remember how to do the egg wash?
Yep, you guys dip this in and then brush it.
Okay, gentle. We don't want to like squish it or make it too wet or too mushy, but go ahead.
How's this?
Go ahead.
That much
well,
brush?
You might need a little bit more. Okay, go ahead. And then you can do it. Hi, kitty, you get down. It's not your dinner time. All right. You go. Can I show you something that works a little bit better for me when I do it?
Just
you just kind of do short little taps.
Okay.
And then we even need to go up here because that gives that yummy crust a nice flavor too. Okay? You like crust. You're my kind of girl. All right, go on. All right, Tabitha did a great job doing the egg wash. It's all ready to go. And I have my oven preheated at 375 and I'm gonna keep it in there for around 40 minutes, but I'm gonna wash it towards the end and just look for that golden brown color and make sure the crust is cooked thoroughly all the way through. Okay, so not only is it good to have meals prepared as you build your stockpile and have your pantry stocked for different things, and it comes in handy, you know. We had like a big snowstorm yesterday and I didn't have to leave to think about, you know, I didn't have to leave to go to a grocery store or anything like that today. I had it all in the house and I could choose from different meals. But not only do you need meals, you gotta have dessert, right? So I'm gonna show you guys how to make brownies. And we're gonna start over at the stovetop actually. So I'm gonna start, I double this recipe, so that's what I'm sharing with you because this makes a 9 by 13 pan. So who doesn't need a 9 by 13 pan of brownies? I mean, come on. So we're gonna melt 2 sticks of butter on the stovetop in a saucepan here. I'm just gonna gently melt it. And we had, and then we'll move on to the next step once it's melted. But we've tried, how many recipes, Marie? She's behind the camera. I mean, years worth of homemade brownie recipes and we never found one that we really liked. They usually were bitter or just didn't, you know, or dry or didn't taste good. But anyway, we found this recipe and now we stick with it. We like these better than any box mix or whatever. And all of these ingredients we stock up on. We keep butter in the freezer, cocoa sugar, salt, we'll get to all vanilla, eggs. We have them all here all the time. So it makes it really easy. So, all right, let's melt this up and then we'll move on to the next step. Our 2 sticks of butter are fully melted. I'm gonna turn off the heat and then I am going to get our 2 cups of sugar. Yes, 2 cups of sugar, it's dessert. And put that in with our hot butter. Not only will this help the cane sugar break down properly, but it cools down that butter. I'm just kind of stirring it for a few minutes, again, incorporating both of those things, but also cooling down the butter so it doesn't cook our eggs in the next step, because we don't want that. I'm even gonna move it off of my hot burner. Okay, we're good. It's barely warm. So now we're gonna add 4 eggs. When you live on a farm, you crack your eggs in a separate bowl. That's just what you do. It's just smart. Okay, got our 4 eggs in there. And next, I'm gonna put in a half a teaspoon of salt and a half of a teaspoon of baking powder. Get those mixed in. All right, and after that, we're gonna go with 2/3 cup of cocoa powder. 2/3 cup of cocoa powder. I keep having to reach over there for all my stuff, but that's okay. It's thankfully, in this case, my kitchen is kind of small, so it works. I'm also gonna throw in my 2 teaspoons of vanilla, because what is dessert without vanilla? Not as good. It's gonna take me a minute, because the cocoa takes a minute to break down here. All right, our cocoa is all incorporated, and we're gonna, last but not least, add our 1 cup of flour, okay? Bring it all together. I'm doing it in like 2 sections here so that it's easier to mix in. All right, this looks great. It's coming together. It smells really good. All right, and now I'm gonna transfer it to my 9x13 over here. And I already sprayed this with oil so it won't stick. Get everything out of there. We're gonna get this in here, and then as you guys know, the pot pie is cooking up right now. When the pot pie is done, I'm gonna throw this in the oven at 350 degrees for 18 minutes, and then I'm gonna check it, and if it needs to go a couple more minutes after that, then I'll leave it in. But check it at 18 minutes and see if they're done. And then, yeah, we'll have dinner and dessert on the table real soon. All right, pot pie looks done and beautiful. I'm gonna let it set up for about 15 minutes or so, otherwise it'll just fall apart. So pot pie is out, brownies are going in. All right, the brownies are hot and done, and perfect timing because we just demolished that pot pie. It is gone. So it was done in just the right amount of time. They bake really nicely. Let's see, I told you guys 18 minutes, and I put it back in for another 4 or 5 minutes. So just, it depends on your oven. Take a look every once in a while towards the end and make sure that they are baking properly. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, it was just relaxed. Come along with us while we make dinner and dessert and learn, you know, something else that you can make really quickly and easily from your stockpile items. So we'll talk to y'all soon.